Today on The American Land Seller, we are excited to introduce a distinguished figure in the world of auctioneering and real estate, accredited land consultant David Whitaker of Whitaker Marketing Group. David's venture into auctioneering began with his education at auction school in 2008. His journey is one of a relentless pursuit of knowledge and excellence, leading him to acquire his real estate license in 2010. Today, he is the proud owner, operator, and managing broker of Whitaker Marketing Group. David's expertise isn't just limited to conducting auctions, though. He has become a trusted advisor in farmland sales and acquisitions thanks to his deep understanding of market trends and his dedication to his clients. He's recognized for his innovative approach to marketing and selling land, a skill that has earned him a reputation as a leader in the field. Education has been a cornerstone of David's success. His academic credentials include prestigious institutions like Iowa State University, Bismarck State College, and the Missouri Auction School. His certifications from the National Auctioneers Association further attest to his commitment to his profession. David's list of accolades is as impressive as his knowledge. He's not only an accredited land consultant, he is also state champion auctioneer in Iowa, Minnesota, Nebraska, and Missouri, and has earned national and international recognition, including titles like the U.S. Bid Calling First Runner-Up and the Canadian International Western Champion. David's life outside the auction world is equally fulfilling. He enjoys a peaceful life in Ames, Iowa with his wife Ann and their two sons, where they are actively involved in farming. His leadership and expertise have also led him to serve as a past president for the Iowa Auctioneers Association and the Iowa Realtors Land Institute. Join us today as we delve into the life and career of David Whitaker. And as always, we hope you take away something from this episode.
Welcome to the American Land Seller Podcast with your host, Kobe Rickertson. Kobe is an accredited land consultant and multi-state land broker with American Legacy Land Company. Join us each week as we explore all things land. We bring you fresh insights and expert guests on sales, marketing, regulations, economics, and so much more. Visit www.americanlandseller.com and find us on one of your favorite podcast platforms.
Okay, Kobe and our special guests, let's get started.
Hey, welcome back to the American Land Seller Podcast. We're here with David Whitaker with the Whitaker Land or Auction Group out of Iowa. David, how are we doing today?
Very good. How are you doing?
I'm doing really, really well. So I'm excited to have you on here to just kind of talk about your year as the RLI Iowa president, the president of the Iowa chapter of RLI. Nebraska has joined that chapter several years ago. And so there's a lot of fun stuff. So I thought we'd just kind of kick it off as like, was it everything you expected and more?
It is. Of course, any commitment that you get into, it becomes more than you thought it was when you signed up for it. But it's good to be in that position. It's good to learn with everybody. And then I think you learn more when you're actually teaching and being at the top than you do when you're at the bottom. But Iowa has a really strong RLI group that was established long before me. You know, when we think of the national, I think of Texas, I think of Colorado, I think of Iowa, and then there's a couple others that are pretty big out there. We got a pretty good group of people, and of course, they're all land-specific people. So when we go back to your question about presidency, we're always looking for more members, and most of the members that are active members of Iowa, they've already been president. They've already been past presidents. And so they're always looking for new blood to become president, if you will, or you're the guy that got voted in for it. But I actually wanted to just to engage with it more and to be seen as a force to be reckoned with. Being a smaller company, competing against the $500 million companies, I wanted to have my seat at the table too.
Yeah, no, and it's And those calls, like we have calls once a month that just kind of go over what's happening in the area and the region, and I have just really been totally educated. I can tell you that from the dirt that I live in and the dirt that you live in, David, it's totally different. It's like a different world, pretty much. So like you guys are trying to figure out a way to get rid of water all the time, and we'd love to have it. So, but. So no, but you made it through. It's somebody else's is responsibility now. Looking back, what was one of the highlights you had during your time as the president?
So one of the things you get to do, of course, you need to be vice president before you can be president. And one of the requirements of vice president is you, as you know, for your listeners that might not know, we do a call every month, okay, at the last week of the month. And every other month, the vice president is responsible for bringing in a speaker. And so you have to bring in a speaker. So it was interesting because you got to control the topics. So do we want to talk about this or that? And so it was interesting searching out those experts and then having them, just like a podcast here, talk about anything that you want to. So that was a fun part about it. But another fun part about it is we do of course, I'm an auctioneer. We do a charity auction at our annual event and have get-togethers. Iowa is big on socials. And so maybe it was the guys before me, but they have a lot of socials. So they'll go out and it is less politics and more just, talking at the bar, if you will. And it's really good. So that's probably my best experience throughout the process, is being able to go to all the different socials. And anytime we have new RLI classes, you're able to go there and speak to the new people that are going to be members and or just students. So those are some cool takeaways as vice president and president, the socials and picking the speakers and getting to meet all the new people.
Yeah, I can't say that being a part of the Iowa chapter, they are extremely active. They're extremely pro-educational. Like I've even seen where we've partnered with the other organizations to provide quality education, and again, like I'm quite a ways away from where most of the socials and stuff like that happen. Yep. And as a Husker fan, I tell Tracy all the time, I'm really not probably going to drop everything to run out to the baseball game in Iowa City, but
yep. It's a drive for me, so it's 3 times as far for you. I know that.
Right.
So
that's right. I'm like 3.5 hours from the border of Iowa before I even start into anywhere over there.
Yeah, but I do know that with that merger, they're trying to get stuff over to Omaha, and I think they will. But one other thing, moving forward with it is the new board that's there, as I think I moved to chairman of the board, but they're still trying to figure out what classes to offer. We always want to offer good education, as you said. And a lot of people have already gotten their ALC designation. And so if they've already got their accredited land consultant, those classes were kind of the core of what we did forward. Now, what cool stuff do we want to know about now? Because most of our membership actually has their ALC designation. And so it's getting harder and harder to fill those classes because everybody's already accredited.
Yeah. No, that's that is a good point. I know they did. When I was going through getting my ALC, I did go to Council Bluffs to a class, and Randy Hertz, I think, was the teacher.
Yep.
And so, just a lot of high-powered talent, though, out there in Iowa, just part of that organization. And I don't know if you know this or not, but I actually I'm a land U instructor now. So I'm teaching 3 classes. Yeah, I went through that process this year. And so I'm pretty excited about that. So
what classes are you teaching?
I'm doing 101 ag marketing and site selection.
Oh,
so,
okay. Very good.
So yeah, so it'll be fun. That's quite the process that's not just putting your hand up. That's you have to teach an hour class for each of the classes that you want to teach. You have to teach an hour basically to the computer by yourself. And so it was like, I don't know. I was pretty tired of myself by the time I got done with 2 classes in a row for that. the day that I auditioned, but it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. But
well, good. My wife's taking her designation, so maybe she'll have you as a teacher if you're close by. So
yeah, no, and again, I think it's one of those things where if people reach out to me, I can provide the just come in and do the classes, and I don't think I'm going to charge anybody too terribly much, but just getting there. So it'll be fun. I like the networking, and I think talk just a little bit about that, David. You and I kind of met through RLI. We've gotten to visit over the years. In the next segment, we're going to talk about technology and land sales, and I have learned a ton from you off of that. Just hanging out, listening to you talk about all the different things that you're into. But I think the camaraderie and the just the networking that happens is pretty impressive with the Realtors Land Institute.
Yeah, one of my first experiences to real estate. Let's way back up. I had a farm for sale, and I'd worked for a different company at the time, and I helped this girl prepare a proposal, and we were both green at what we were doing, but I was sure we were going to work together and had that statement, but we didn't get it written down. Well, guess who got screwed out of the entire commission, the entire deal, everything? This guy. So I learned really quick that real estate is ruthless, if you will. And so then I kind of had a sour taste for it as, all right, it's me and nobody else. And I didn't necessarily want to network with anyone else. But then I joined, from NAR, the National Association of Realtors, and the Iowa Association of Realtors. And then I ended up joining Realtor Land Institute. And it was a different feel. So just as you're saying, there's a whole lot of networking. Everybody that's in that club are my competitors. And so that's a weird group to be in. You're surrounded by your competitors. They're all talking about their success or what they're doing, and you're sharing ideas. That doesn't happen very often, to where my next door neighbor, who I'm competing against, I'm giving them all my ideas. Now, as I've got the opportunity to teach some as well, I'm cognizant to watch what I'm saying or doing to not give away all the trade secrets, but definitely share, but as they say, when the tide rises, all boats rise together, right?
Absolutely.
If you're going to win, you don't want to win against the worst people in there. You want to win against the best. So I guess let's make everybody the best. And if I win, I win. So, but yeah, that group, any association, whether it's auctioneers or realtors or whatever association, the old adage is you get back what you put in. And if I hadn't joined presidency and the run for a board member, I wouldn't have been as connected. I show up for the monthly meeting. Okay. You need to, if you want to engage, and you'll get back exactly what you put into it. And I've done that. Now, also the national conference. I think we met a couple times at the national conference.
Yeah.
And when we talk about that, so many people are like, well, it's awful expensive. And it is. This is not a cheap membership, and it is expensive to fly across the country and get those hotels and go out to eat and have drinks, et cetera, et cetera. But boy, that's the relationships that have gotten me deals down the road. Just did one with the RLI member down in Missouri who we met at the National Land Conference. And then they had me come speak in Missouri, and I did. Well, sure enough, she was needing some help with the auction side. We partnered, and we just did a broker-to-broker deal together and successful transaction. I never would have met Kathy if I hadn't have gone and engaged at the national conference. So, yep, it looks expensive on the front end, but you'll eventually get paid back your commission. So.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that I'm not a huge fan of conferences because we have a billion of them in the real estate world, no matter what. But I will tell you what, I don't miss that one. Because again, I think, what was it, 2 years ago, I was sat in your class. And I think my brain's still a little bit burnt out but you had so many different ideas, and again, with you sharing all of your secrets on at that time, social media and some of that stuff you were doing with technology. And then I went to Randy Hertz with the 101 class, And, you're like looking around trying to figure out if you're being punked, because that guy, he just puts all his collateral right in front of you and just says, all right, this is what our listing booklet looks like. And this is what we do. And here's what we are. Here's the websites that we go to. And I was, initially it's like, how come he's doing this, But then I got to thinking throughout the 2 days, he's writing stuff down too that other people are telling him, like, hey, this website. Yeah. And so he's able to go back and do some research. And so again, and he admitted that, hey, I come out of here, better in my business every single time I do these classes. So no, that's pretty phenomenal. But well, if you don't mind, David, let's take a break, and we will be right back. The American Land Seller Podcast is brought to you in part by LandHub.com. Join us today and experience the expertise of LandHub's land marketing professionals. Whether you're buying or selling, let us show you the way in the ever-evolving world of land transactions. Visit LandHub.com and discover what the future of land marketing looks like. LandHub.com, where your land journey begins. And we're back here with David Whitaker from Iowa. David, one of the first times I ever met you, I think we talked just a second about this previously, but the first times I ever met you or saw you, I was sitting in a class in San Antonio, Texas that you put on. And it was pretty much, it was all about how you were using technology to promote your business and to, and it wasn't just social media. It was like there were just different aspects of technology. What kind of, I know you're probably one of the top guys in the country when it comes to the use of that kind of stuff. What are you like self-taught? Do you go to a lot of classes? I know you're teaching them now, but
no, I definitely am not. I'm a little bit self-taught, but what I have done is taken good classes, and a lot of those classes were actually provided by the National Auctioneers Association, and that they have a class called Auction Marketing Management, and boy, it was a game changer for me to open my eyes of what other marketing strategies are out there. They have a full designation for it called AMM. So just like anything's got a designation or 3 little letters, they do as well. And so I've always been a tech guy though since college. So if there's something new, that's what I've been doing all day today is trying to improve stuff that I have out there now. So yeah.
Yeah, and you have like it's from organizing your schedule to social media, to all aspects of it. That I know for a fact we successfully use quite a bit of technology in our office, but I know like that's like give me like what if you had to just boil it down to like 1 or 2 things that were probably the most important to you, tools that you have, what would that be if you're not giving away too many secrets to people?
As a business owner, I like Monday.com. So Monday, like the day of the week.com, is a customizable CRM / project management tool that you can make whatever you want. So I took the opportunity to write down every step in the process because I want to be able to grow. I know every step that I do, but does the rest of my team know every step that I do and that I want done? So this allows for a app on a phone, on a computer, that everybody has their task and anybody can see when everybody has checked the box. Is it done? Has it not been done? What's next to do? Because it takes a whole team to sell farmland. It is not just one person. And so putting that together has been a game changer in the business side of the world. And you can customize it to your workflow. So many of the CRMs out there, they have generics. This one, if I want to say we're taking the signs and putting them on the left side of the road, I can say we're taking the signs, check the box. Yes, it got done. So yeah, that's been a really good one. But when you think of marketing, you got to think back to who are we marketing to? Okay. So I named my company Whitaker Marketing Group for a reason. Nobody ever says, do you talk fast? Yep, I've won a lot of state championships and championships for auctioneering. They say, can you market my asset and get me the most successful outcome? So that is my mission statement, is to market your assets to the largest audience, yielding you the most successful outcome. For some people, their most successful outcome is I want to sell it to the kid who rents it. For some, it's I don't want a hog confinement. Others, it's I don't want China to even be able to bid. Others, it's I want the most money, period. I don't care. I don't care who you sell it to. So most successful outcome looks different for most people. So then we think of who is buying, okay? And who are we marketing to? So we got two sides of marketing when we're talking land. We're marketing ourselves and our company to get the next potential job. That's one subset of person, okay? So who's selling farmland? Let's go there. The average in my area is about an 82-year-old widowed woman, okay, that owns the farmland. Oftentimes, I think the most people that sell land are the ones that inherit it from a past generation that maybe passed away, okay?
Sure.
The reason I think they're doing that is stepped up basis. Tax implications have a huge impact on who is selling, okay? So how old are they? Maybe 45, maybe 50, somewhere in there. So we got to think back to Korean War veterans, and then into baby boomer generation, and then into the next geners. And maybe the next geners are the people I'm targeting to now sell, but the people that are passing are the Korean War and now into the baby boomer generation. Okay. So we have a very large transition of wealth that's about to happen and is happening right now. That's the marketing on the side of get the job. Now, when we talk about let's sell the farm for someone, they want to know that we market their asset to everyone. And here is where we have a really large audience, Kobe. We have guys that are 18 that want to get into farming because their dad is there. We have guys that are 85 that want to leave a legacy for the next generation. And so they consume how we advertise different. Some still want the newspaper. Yeah. I'm going to call it old school advertising. The newspaper, some want direct mail. Okay. When we think of production agriculture, that's where I'm at. Production agriculture, you probably don't drive your combine more than 50 miles away. So geospatial marketing is key. Okay, when we think of ranch in Montana that is just a luxury home, second home, need a tax write-off, et cetera, well, now maybe you do live in Virginia, New York, Tennessee, California. We got to spread that out farther. So now we're talking national marketing, not geospatial local marketing. We're talking national. So we have old school advertising, newspapers, direct mail. We have word of mouth at the coffee shop. We have at the co-ops hanging up flyers, printable sale bills. Then we have new age marketing that we might hit people farther away. Every website from Landwatch, Lands of America, Land and Farm, LoopNet, Crexy, your own personal websites. Then we get into social media marketing. Of course, all social platforms, people that know other people need to spend money are bankers and attorneys, LinkedIn, Facebook. And then we go deeper into that. Okay, who bought our past farms? Now, let's remarket to them. Who's clicked on our website? Let's follow them around the internet for a while. Let's keep putting our ad in front of them. Or, hey, we already know that these people have strategically bought farms from us before. What did they have in common? They're all 50. They're all married. They all have a tax assessment that they make over $100,000 a year. They all have a house that's paid for. So we can get some financial records. We can get some habits that they all have in common. And we can look for more people that look just like them, even though we don't know who they are. And so that has changed the marketing game significantly. So old school advertising and new school advertising. YouTube tells us there's, I don't even know the number anymore. I think it's like 82 million hours of footage is watched every, I got 500 million is what it is. 500 million. There we go. Hours are watched on YouTube every day. Okay. Wow. So how important is video? And now drones have come to the world. So those all help us market the farm. Sometimes they help us get the next job, but we are in a place right now where we have an 80-year-old that still needs some old school marketing. We have a 45-year-old that needs maybe some Facebook marketing and some digital, let's follow you around the internet marketing. Then we have the 60-year-old that he just likes to get the direct mail, checks the mailbox every day, and he's going to see it there, but he's really doesn't read the newspaper anymore and doesn't even really do social. And then we have Google, and Google is the world's superpower, number one search engine out there. That, of course, they have 99% of all the traffic. We need to be found. So, especially when it comes to getting the next job, we need to be found, because what do the kids do? They're used to doing this. Hey, Google. Hey, Siri. How do I sell Grandpa's farm?
Yeah.
What's it worth? I don't know. So we as business owners need to be there as well. So we only got two subsets. I just unpacked a whole lot for you. Sorry for that, but there's a whole lot there.
No, that's pretty crap. Well, and again, it's kind of like just listening to you talk for the last few minutes is like the people that say, oh, selling farmlands, that's pretty easy. Like you're just talking about the marketing aspect of it, not the several days worth of research and boots on the ground and making sure that the well's right, making sure that, like in your part of the country, tiling, I think, is important and stuff like that, and so, I mean, I absolutely agree with everything you said. And I think that, nobody probably in the country does it better as far as marketing than you guys do at Whitaker Marketing. So, but just real quick, what's that?
I appreciate that. Stay tuned for artificial intelligence.
I was just gonna add, that was my next question. Now you're in my head. What are we thinking about artificial intelligence? Are you using it? Are you getting it figured out?
I use it every day.
Yeah, I do too.
Yep. No, I'm fortunate. I'm going to get to teach a class at the national conference this year on AI. And, I hesitated for a second there in that, do I really want to teach all my competition? Well, yeah, let's spread the wealth. They're going to get a job. I'm going to get a job. Maybe they'll understand it. Maybe they won't. There's lots of ways to use AI, from the simplest of writing a listing description to writing an email. And I use it for that more often than not. I'm the world's worst speller. And so
exactly.
It helps me out with that a lot. There's times that I want certain tone in an email. I want to advise the seller that I strongly think that this is a deal you should take. And AI really helps with tone. Okay. There's times that I think that, I don't think you should take it. I want to go to auction. So I'll ask AI to help me write that in the correct tone so it gives that message. Because I like talking with people, but it's hard to read into an email or a text. Yeah. Yep.
Well, and like, it's funny you mentioned that. And then if you want to, I don't know if you heard this one or not, but trying to think of the young lady out by Iowa City with Hertz. She was just on the RLI podcast.
Rebecca Frank.
Yeah. Yep. And she was talking a little bit about that too. And you know what I like what you were saying about that is like you are right on with where I'm at, because I'm not asking Chat GPT or whatever it is that we're using, Bard or whatever. I'm not asking them to do it for me. I'm writing down my pathetic version, and then I'm like, make me sound smart, I've got the information. I just, and my wife laughs because like I'm a very passionate person. And so like I have used it to be like, like, hey, here's what I want to say. But I don't want to sound, like I want to sound professional, and so it'll take what I wrote, which was basically just screw you, David, whatever it was, and turn it into a respectful. And I the funniest story I have is Oklahoma. I just recently got my license in Oklahoma, and I argued with the Oklahoma real estate commission for a month and a half over their ruling. Because when I joined my new company, I am a designated broker in many states, but I'm not in my home state anymore. And so they were making that an issue, which their rules didn't say it was. And so I was mad at them. So I would type a big, long diatribe, and then I would kick it into to the AI and have them turn it into and it actually worked because I sounded intelligent and respectful when I responded back to them. I didn't sound mad, and they worked harder for me than if I would have just attacked them. So
there will be a new position. I don't know if you ever heard the term prompting, but it's going to be a term. There will be a job, a prompter, a professional prompter. There's books already out on it that here's 10,000 prompts for ChatGPT. Okay. So prompting is how we ask AI to do what we want to do. So that's where we say, take this email, but make it respectful and make it short and to the point, and get rid of all of my rambling, and send the message that I'm passionate about what I'm talking about here. And it will take that tone. I don't think I've ever used AI where I haven't asked it 4 or 5 follow-up questions to make it to change it for the better. I think a lot of people are trying AI and they're like, that wasn't that great. You need to finesse it. You need to say, hey, oh, wait a minute, add this. Oh, I forgot to say this is the date. Oh, could you include a, thank you that is this? Yeah.
No, go ahead.
There's lots of ways to use it. And if you take it to the next level, I wrote an article for RLI on their Terra Firma that comes out, their magazine. And there is, I'll give a nugget for my conference, futurepedia.com has AI tools. There is so many. And with that being said, I've gone a little farther to where let's get a list of, let's just pretend for a second. Let's get a list of every person who owns land in Nebraska. Okay, they're out there. We have that list. Now, I want a list of every person that farms more than 100 acres in Nebraska. Okay, for USDA records. Okay, I have that list now. Now, separate those by county. Okay, so another prompt. It did it. Okay, now let me upload. Here is my listing that's just outside of whatever, Clark County. Okay. Now, take the list of qualified people that own land and people that farm more than 100 acres, and give me a worst to first list geospatially. Okay, there's my first prompt. Who's the closest that probably is going to buy this farm? And here's my listing. And it'll come back and it'll say, I can't find that. I don't know what you're talking about. Can you cross-reference section, township, range with the parcel ID on the county website? Oh, yeah, I can do that. Dang. Now I have a worst to first list of probably the top 10 people that are most interested in buying my land. Now let's take a step further. Okay. Take those people, and then say, hey, based on their habits on social media, tell me who's been talking about farmland in the past 6 months. Okay. And there's a thing called skip tracing out there. And so it'll do skip tracing and skip across all the social media platforms, and it will search who's been talking about this. Okay, rearrange the list. Okay, now I have a list. Now, not done. Let's update it a step further. Now, let's take USDA crop reporting records, okay, of how many bushels per acre we got. We also have to report gross farm income. Now take gross farm income and how much money I've made into that picture, okay? Reorganize my list. So now I know the people that made the most, live the closest, and are talking about farmland. Those are my 3 prompts so far. Okay. Now I got a worst to first list. Now take it a step farther, and we have eventually we'll get quantum computing. We're not there yet, but if we have everybody's got a form of AI. So my insurance company has AI, and my tax records have AI, and the U.S. government has AI, and RLI has AI. When they all merge and start talking together, this could be dangerous. So now I know how much money I spent, and what did I spend on, and where did I spend it? So does AI know that I bought a fifth of whiskey every week for the last 7 weeks, and now does my health insurance go up?
Oh my God.
So, okay, now if I know how much you spent, do I know you just bought 5 tractors? You probably don't have the income to buy my farmland because you just recently made purchases. So there's going to be a privacy issue when we talk AI. How much stuff are we going to feed the giant here? And when it all talks, could I get a worst to first list? Do I even need to have an auction? Or do I know the person who's going to give the most already?
That's what I'm saying is the way you're talking is you probably got a big packet and an envelope that you just walk up and just be like, here's what I feel like you're probably going to pay for it anyway. So let's save ourselves some time, and I'll take you out for steak.
It helps with statistics. So if you're not good at statistics, AI will help with that.
Yeah, that's absolutely fascinating. I'm not quite as into it as you are yet, David. So, but man, it is. I think it is going to be. It is probably one of the best tools that we're going to have in the next few years. So,
Definitely.
but anyway, let's take a quick break, and we will be right back. The American Land Seller Podcast is brought to you in part by American Legacy Land Company. At American Legacy, our seasoned agents set us apart, providing unmatched service with a personal touch that goes beyond expectations. With a wealth of market knowledge and a diverse portfolio, including farms, ranches, development lands, and recreational properties, we forge lasting connections with clients through honesty, integrity, and transparency. Visit us at AmericanLegacyLandCo.com and find the land that defines your life. All right, we're back with David Whitaker from Iowa. Where are you at in Iowa, David? I never can remember.
Dead center state, Ames, Iowa.
Ames, home of the Iowa State Cyclones, isn't that
You
correct?
got it. Yes.
Yeah, I'm old enough to remember the old Big Eight. So back in the day when we used to see you guys quite a bit. Now we're competitors with the other side of the state. So.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But all right, man. Well, I can tell you that being in the land business for a while now, getting to know a lot of the people that do this full time. You guys probably are one of the top auctioneers, if not the top auctioneer outfit in the entire country. Let's talk just a little bit about what your thoughts are as far as I think, like when we first met, auctions were a big deal in Iowa. Like that was about all the sales were going through auctions. And Nebraska, it was like, no, we really didn't have that, just because I could pin what a land price was.
Yeah.
Now we're kind of seeing a flip a little bit, I think, maybe. Nebraska's starting to, I have no flipping idea what the neighbor's going to pay for maybe a parcel that we have come up. And so we're thinking auction a lot more than we used to.
Yeah.
Talk just a little bit about that. Like, what are your thoughts on going through, we're into 2024 now. What's it look like this year to you if you had your crystal ball out?
My crystal ball is probably just as fuzzy as everybody's, but auctions are great. I have seen more auctions in Nebraska. I've seen more come up across the country. And the reason that I think, if I can give a plug for auctions, there's a bunch of good features about auctions. They're fun, they're fast, they're transparent. So the number one reason is transparency. So if the kids say, well, I don't know, my brother thinks it's worth this much and the realtor thinks it's worth that much and we think it's here, hey, let's be very transparent. Let everybody come to the game and play. Well, the neighbor said he'd give this. Well, the tenant said he'll give that. Let's let them all play, okay, and they'll have a shot. The next thing is competitive bidding. You get competitive bidding and true price discovery in an auction, whereas you don't leave any money on the table. There are times that I've set an offer and had an offer, or set a price and had an offer in 10 seconds. Great. Oh, how much do we leave on the table? We, as the realtors, had to set a ceiling. We had to set a ceiling price in there. At an auction, there's no ceiling. We start low and everybody goes. Start too high, you may pass them by, or they might just buy it right out, and then we don't have the competition. So auctions, they create excitement, and that oftentimes yields better outcomes. They're time defiant. So a lot of people that thought of auctions had all the D's: death, divorce, something wrong, disagreements or dissolution agreements of partnerships. Oh, we got to sell this stuff. Somebody's getting divorced. We got to sell this stuff because something's bad. If you go back and look at the highest price items, like no matter what the part of the country, the Batmobile, what's the Batmobile worth? We don't know. We took it to auction and it was worth $2.8 million. How do we know? The finest art in the world, the best, fastest horses in the world. We don't know what someone will give. So we take them to auction. Okay. So that's my kind of plug for auctions. It's time defiant, no contingencies, no warranties. It's transparent and it's competitive bidding. But there are the calls for a listing. I'm not all auctions. So there's call for listing. And if we don't think there's going to be competition, we set the price and we see what somebody's willing to give. So a lot of my clients, I say, if you already know what you want, and by God, you want $10,000, then set the price. And as soon as somebody gives it, that's successful outcome. If you're ready to see what somebody's willing to give, or what the top dollar somebody's willing to give, then let's go to auction instead. But with auctions come reserves, and reserves are meant to prevent disaster. Reserves is I, the seller, reserve the right not to sell it unless it brings this much money. X.
Sure.
Okay, that's a safety net, is what it is. There's two types of auctions. There's absolute, and then there's with reserve. Now going back to our crystal ball. Okay, where are we going to go from here? As the market slows, I'm not saying the market is going to slow. Everyone else in the country is saying that the market is going to slow. They're saying that commodity prices are going to be less. We're not going to have as much. Of course, commodity prices are our driver. That's how much jingles in our checkbook when we talk about farmland oftentimes. That's production agriculture, not recreational ground. Okay? If there's we have inflation going right now. They want to slow the economy. Well, it's working. And I know in my neck of the woods, where there are normally about 200 auctions coming up in the next 4 months, there's only 60.
Yeah.
So I do think we're going to slow, but with slow becomes less people selling their stuff. So now we have supply and demand. Well, if there's a lower supply, we still have a demand for it. I saw a farm sale today for $26,000 an acre. Holy smokes. I didn't think it was going to bring that. I sold one the other day and it was still strong. So there is still a strong market. There's still old money out there. Let's go back to the baby boomers that I was talking about. They paid for everything. It's all paid for. I know in Iowa, 82% of farms are paid for free and clear. They bought them back when it was $500 an acre. Now it's worth $20,000. You know how much equity is out there, Kobe? That is serious amount of income. They might be cash poor, but equity heavy.
Yeah.
They can borrow anything they want. But interest rates, commodity prices, foreign trade, ethanol, inputs in there, it's all going to make a difference of where the market's going. Everybody's indicating we're going to slow down, but I'm going back to supply and demand, and there's a whole lot of money out there. I think it's still going to stay strong.
Well, and I think that some of the economists that you listen to when they start talking about the slowdown is ag land is what, a 5 to 6% return on investment type of investment. And when you can go take your money and stick it into a CD for 5%, a little bit safer, and you don't have to put a new well in next year or whatever happens to come up. And so investor wise, I think, I don't think they're burning the ground down in Mississippi trying to buy all the farm ground up like they were a couple years ago. But I also think what's a fun statistic is what close to 70% of the land in Nebraska that traded hands is producer bought, which I haven't seen that in. And again, it goes back to what you're talking about. Baby boomers own the land, and their mortality is starting to, kick into them. And so why not invest in the grandson, by using some of their equity and purchasing some land, to help out. And then the intro farmer programs are phenomenal. You can go buy, a couple of quarters of irrigated farm ground in Nebraska for 1%, or something like that with some government programs. So
they have caps and limits, but I always rule it back to this: people invest in what they know. So I have people that say, Dave, I want to sell my farm. Why? I get 12% over here at Edward Jones. I'm like, okay, but you can make money and it's a solid investment in farmland. And then I have people that say, through the stock market, I'm hedging against inflation. I'm pulling out all of my retirement and I'm putting it in farmland.
Yeah.
It goes back to the statement. People invest in what you know. If you know stocks and bonds, that's what you put it in. If you know treasuries, great. If you know farmland, then and in my world, it's about a 3% return on production agriculture, which is way less than you get in the stock market. But I always think of farmland as the long-term appreciation of land. Okay.
Sure.
You're not making any more of it. You own it forever, and it has appreciated over time.
Yeah.
The money that they make year to year, I'm going to call it a dividend return. The cash rent that you're going to get is a dividend return, although that's only 2.5%, 3%. The long-term appreciation USDA says over 15 years is like 12%. Well, now I'm matching what Edward Jones says. I have something I can drive by, solid asset, and I get a dividend. So I think it's win-win when I talk with a lot of those investors that are saying, I'm backing out of the market. Well, they just look at it different.
Right. Well, and if you bought farm ground where I'm at when I graduated high school, which was in 1992, and sold it in 2022, it was well more than 12% return on your investment. So, it was crazy. But man, I have appreciated talking to you. We're going to have to do this again because I know I've only scratched the surface of the information that you got to share with people. But I am super looking forward to you being one of the the breakout sessions at the National Land Conference. That right there is probably going to be worth my trip out there. So, and I will, we were talking about during the breaks, some AI stuff. I'm going to look that up and get it over to you. I still have all the notes and stuff from that session, so I'll go look it all back up and share my thoughts with you. But thanks so much. Happy New Year. And any final thoughts? How do we get a hold of you if we're in Iowa wanting to market and sell some property?
Sure. If you'll let me put my shingle out there, it's Whitaker Marketing Group. On about all socials, I'm the Iowa Land Guy, and phone number is 515-996-LAND, spelled out. That's 5263.
Nice. Well, thanks again for doing this, brother, and you have a great new year.
You too.
All right. Well, that's all we have for today, and we will see you all down the road.
As we wrap up another episode of the American Land Seller Podcast, thank you for joining us. Visit www.americanlandseller.com and find us on one of your favorite podcast platforms. If you would be so kind and you enjoyed today's insights, please like, subscribe, rate, follow, and review us on whatever app you are listening or watching on. Connect with us on social media for updates. Until next week, Kobe wishes you success in your land endeavors. God bless you, and have a great week.
The American Land Seller Podcast is brought to you in part by LandHub.com. At LandHub, we're revolutionizing land transactions by effectively connecting buyers and sellers. Say goodbye to the struggle of finding or marketing land for sale. We understand the power of new media marketing, leveraging social media, and targeted ads to bring together the ideal audience for all property types. LandHub.com, where your land journey begins. And American Legacy Land Company. At American Legacy, we redefine excellence in real estate. Explore our top quality offerings featuring farms, ranches, recreational properties, and even development projects spanning 10 Midwest states. Visit us at AmericanLegacyLandCo.com for a premium experience that aligns with your land ownership goals. Whether you're looking at buying or selling, we're dedicated to helping you find the land that defines your legacy.